Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, and it's game week tomorrow. Well, tomorrow we play against the Houston Texans. It is the battle of I-45, or if I like to call it, the Big Texas Battle, or the Governor's Cup, whatever that you want to call it. That's what it is for the most part. Um, I look at it like this:
Looks like there's a problem.
there's no problem. Anyway, um, we have so many similarities to the Houston Texans. Now, well, one glaring thing is both quarterbacks' number is number 4. You have two mobile quarterbacks going together in the Battle of Texas and the Governor's Cup. This is a big game for both teams because right now the Texans are 1-3, the Cowboys are 2-2, and you look at both teams and they both need this win. And I look at it like this: there's only going to be one victor, and again, I'm going to talk about the key to the game and some other things that's going on. But first, a little bit of Cowboy news. I know you guys probably heard Travis Frederick. They decided to put him on IR, and they're going to use that roster spot to give to David Irving to be on the roster today, so he could play tomorrow. A couple of interesting things. They also put Terrence Williams on IR as well, and I look at that and I'm like, okay, why? I know that he had like a foot injury he was dealing with before, but I know some of this has to do with his pending possible suspension. We don't know exactly if he's going to get suspended or not. We'll see what happens with that. Now, from what I heard is that even if he is on IR, they can still hand down a suspension if the league decides to do so. So we don't know what's going on with that. Again, it's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not knowing about. It's weird right now, and that whole Terrence Williams situation is really weird. I don't think Des Bryant's going to be on this team now or even get considered because he has been basically talking too much and put it on Twitter, and the team doesn't like that. So they look at it like this: hey, we feel like you haven't changed, and why would we bring you back at this point? So that's unfortunate for him. But I mean, I kind of wanted him to come back. I was a little excited to think about it, but it is what it is. Um, I just hope that he gets his mind right and gets it together. That's what I'm hoping for Des Bryant at this point. Now, I was telling you guys about the whole Travis Frederick thing, and a lot of you guys crapped on me when I did the video back when um, we all found out about his syndrome, about his illness. Now, I said and I told you guys that there was a possibility, and I know you don't want to hear it, but again, on my channel, I speak factual things and I speak things that make sense, that could possibly happen. Whether it's a good thing or bad thing. I don't want him to not play. But my whole thing with Travis Frederick is I want him to be okay. His health is more important in my eyes than him playing. Yes, as a Cowboy fan, you want your best players on the team, on the field. You want your guys out there fighting hard and doing what they need to do. But Joe Looney is doing what he needs to do right now. And he's doing fine. He's not stinking up the place. So I'm okay with that. Now, I just want Travis Frederick to be okay. Now, I did say that there's a possibility that he could not play, and there's also a possibility that he can. I know a lot of you, it was some confusion with some of the subscribers because I know you guys were like, okay, well, he's been working out and lifting weights 4 times a week. Yes, he's been doing that. But if you notice, if you watch him on the sideline, he's actually been losing weight, which is not good for an offensive lineman because he needs to stay at that weight for, leverage and strength wise. Now, um, he's losing weight, but that's not necessarily a good thing because he's losing weight because which means he's losing muscle. So the more and more he works out, it's like he's trying to regain those muscles, but it's not working in his favor. Um, Again, this is something he's going to deal with for the rest of his life. So um, it's not like it's going to ever go away. So they're just hope doctors are still evaluating and doing what they can. The positive thing I will say about his situation is that um, He's on IR, but he's eligible to come back for the last 3 games of the season if the doctors approve of him playing. So, I mean, that's a big if. But again, I keep him in my prayers all the time because, like I said, he's a really good guy. He's been awesome for this team. He's been the best center we've had on this team for a long time, outside of Andre Gerard. So you look at that, and I'm just gonna pray for him and hope everything is good. And I'm glad that the team has that he has the team has his back and that they're supporting him and everything because that's a good thing. That's especially when this is your job, this is your livelihood, this is something that you love to do, this is something that you've done your whole life, and having that support is huge when it comes to stuff like that. But I just wish the best for him. But right now, with Joe Looney starting, like I said, he's been doing pretty good. He's been handling his business. That Zeke Elliott touchdown, I'm telling you, Joe Looney is one of the reasons why that touchdown happened on that run, that long run that he had, because he was out there in front blocking. Matter of fact, he was in. If you go back and look at the tape, you can see where Joe Looney was when he scored that touchdown. He was in front of him, lead blocking, and that's what we saw when Travis Frederick was here, and that's what this team is good at on our offensive line. And that's one thing that I'm glad that we have because it's good for the team and what we're doing. Now, you look at what we're doing as far as the Houston Texans. Now, it's a away game technically, even though it's only 3 hours south of Arlington. You look at it's an away game, and it's going to be lit because, again, it's an interstate rivalry. NFC versus AFC in inner city Texas rivalry is huge. Like I said, whatever you want to call it, I-45 battle, Governor's Cup battle, Battle of Texas, whatever. It is what it is. Now, as far as the league ranking for these teams, the Cowboys on offense, of course, is a dismal 25th. The Texans are 7th. On defense, the Cowboys are 6th in the league going into this week. The defense, the Texans is 20th. And I'm going to go over some of those matchups as well because, again, these teams are kind of evenly matched. So I don't think there's going to be a team that separates from the pack as far as scoring-wise in this game. And I'll explain why. The Cowboys are 29th in passing. You got to do better at that. And the Houston Texans are at 13th. Rushing, Cowboys are 3rd, of course, and they're at 9th, and I'm actually surprised. I know they got Alfred Blue and they got Lamar Miller. Now you look at those guys. Well, I'm gonna get into those matchups in a second, but for the season, Dak Prescott he's a 61.74 completion rating, 753 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, normally by this time of year, Dak's stats is more than that, but you can understand why the team is ranked 25th because the offensive production is really not there right now. And where it needs to be, it's not at. And there's a couple of reasons why. A lot of that has to do with, again, this conservative play calling. Like, we got to take chances and throw the ball downfield. Because at the end of the day, teams are going to know what you're going to do. Everybody, it's no secret. Everybody knows that Zeke is the key to the Dallas Cowboys. And they know that that's their best weapon. So if they're trying to neutralize the run, Dak has to be able to go out there and do what he needs to do as far as getting the ball to his receivers and pushing that ball downfield. Now, there's some interesting stats here, too, as well. So Deshaun Watson is 62.16 completion rate, which is like right above Dak's. So their completion rating is in the same neighborhood. But only the Deshaun Watson has way more yards passing. He has 1,246. He has 7 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. One thing about Deshaun Watson is he'll take chances. That boy can throw that ball. And one thing about him and Dak are very similar because they're both mobile quarterbacks. They both can roll out the pocket and they can throw that ball. Now, the Texans play caller utilizes what he does best, and he gives Deshaun Watson the best chance to win by taking chances and throwing that ball, because using his strength with that RPO, what I'm saying, that run pass option is huge. We don't do it enough with Dak Prescott because I feel like they're technically the same player when it comes to how they are. Now, Deshaun Watson might actually be a little bit more accurate than Dak. I'm not really for sure, but I know that he does throw the ball more. But again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Dallas is not opening things up as they should. And I hope that going forward from last week's Lions game, they did a better job of throwing the ball downfield. I give them credit for that, but you got to keep going. You got to do more than that because it's imperative that you have that balance, because if you don't, these teams are going to make you one-dimensional. You don't need that. Ezekiel Elliott has rushing yards, 73 attempts for 426 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their running back, Lamar Miller, has 58 attempts, 225 yards, and 0 touchdowns. Which means that Alfred Blue hasn't really done much either, but Lamar Miller is their better running back. But again, Dallas has a great chance of stopping their run game, which will force Deshaun Watson to beat us in the air. As far as receiving goes, actually, Deshaun Watson himself has 24 attempts, 161 yards, and he has 1 touchdown rushing himself. You remember Dak's rookie year and last year, Dak was running for touchdowns. I think Dak needs to do that again. Take the ball yourself whenever you get a chance on certain plays where you got open running lanes and get that first down, get that touchdown, because us averaging 16 points a game is not going to cut it in the NFL. It's not. It's not going to happen. You're not going to win games like that. Dak Prescott has 7 attempts for 87 yards rushing. You technically don't want your quarterback running the ball too much because, again, he's a quarterback. You don't want to put him in harm's way. But when the opportunity comes and it's there, you got to take it, especially if there's no open receivers available at that time. So as far as our receivers, our leading receiver right now is Cole Beasley. He has 16 receptions for 185 yards, but he doesn't have any touchdowns yet. It's a shame that our running back is our second leading receiver on the team when we have 7 damn wide receivers on the team. But, that's neither here nor there. But either way, Ezekiel Elliott has 15 receptions for 125 yards and a touchdown passing, receiving. Passing to receiving, you know what I mean. DeAndre Hopkins. So, and I'm gonna talk more about both of those guys, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, which is their top 2 wide receivers, and basically the production of their offense right now. DeAndre Hopkins, he has 30 receptions for 443 yards and 2 touchdowns. Will Fuller has 17 receptions, 263 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, when Deshaun Watson is pushing that ball down the field, these are the guys that he's going to. And when I go to the keys of victory in a second, I'm going to go over a lot of that too. One thing that we have to look at as far as an offense to neutralize their defense so their defense doesn't kill Dak. Our offensive line has to continue to do what they do and block for Dak and make sure that he has enough time to get that ball off. Now, they have some really good defensive line. Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, and the guy Merciless. Now, Merciless doesn't get enough credit because you got Watt and you got Jadeveon Clowney, and these guys are like their top 2 rushers. Now, you gotta make sure that you block so these guys, and Dak is not wearing them around his neck, because they will get to your quarterback, and you have to make sure that your offensive line is doing what they can to keep that from happening. Now, on the flip side of it, our defensive line has a great opportunity to getting to Watson, and that segues into one of my keys too as well. Because the Texans' offensive line is not that great right now. They got a bunch of injuries. One interesting factor: Nick Martin, which is Zach Martin's brother, um, he's injured. I don't think he's going to be playing in the game on the offensive line. But I think that it's interesting because you got the brothers. You got Zach Martin. You got Nick Martin. Both of them play for Texas teams, so you can imagine that whole Martin family is going to be there in attendance watching both of their sons play. So, well, even if whether Nick plays or not, but he's on the team. Um, Keys to victory for Dallas Cowboys: be aggressive on offense first. Be aggressive. Take shots down the field. I can't express this enough. This offense has been too conservative. You can tell by the numbers. I'm not a big numbers guy, and I don't like base everything off of stats because stats change every day, every week, every month, every year. But stats do give you a sense of understanding of where a team is and what they've been doing. Now, when it comes to playing another team, things can change because anything can happen in the game to change that scenario. Now, statistically, this year, Dallas Cowboys are not good on offense. We're not throwing the ball downfield. We're not getting enough production out of our wide receivers. We got plenty of them. I don't even think any other team in the league has as many wide receivers as we have right now. Because, again, it doesn't work like that. You have to have a core number of people that your quarterback is concentrating on because it gets too jumbled and it gets confusing because you have to learn more than one individual. You have to learn more than the allocated amount of people that you should be having on a receiver group. Because having 7 is asinine, and when they did that in the first place, I didn't understand why. I wasn't understanding it at all. But I do look at what they're doing right now as far as trying to figure out who they want. Now, if they won't, I could write them a letter and I could show them basically what receivers would make sense. Because you already know that Cole Beasley is your top receiver right now. But he's one of the smallest receivers you have on the team. You need that variety. You need these guys to step up. You're paying Allen Hurns $6 million. Get him the ball. You have a 3rd-round draft pick in Michael Gallup. Get him involved. You have a tight end that's 6'8" and has a wingspan of just ridiculous amounts. Give him the damn ball. Give him the ball. Again, they say that they don't trust him. They don't think he knows the offense. He knows enough to run these routes that can get him open because I've seen him do it in preseason. So last year. So if I've seen you do it once, I know you can do it again. Give him some red zone targets. Back shoulder fades. Do something. Do some wheel routes like what we did with Ezekiel Elliott when we actually threw the ball to him downfield, which is the first time I have ever seen that since Zeke has been on this team. But you got to be aggressive. You got to do like you did in that Giants game. Open that thing up. They know that you're going to run the daggone ball with Zeke. Now, if they want to, first play of the game, they can spread that offense out. They can play fake like they're actually going to throw the ball and then run. Left side, right behind Tyron Smith. First down. Then the second play, throw that thing deep. Take a chance. Austin, Thompson, give it to your fast guys. Bryce Butler. Give it to those are your 3 fastest receivers. Give it to one of them. Open that thing up and then come back and pound them with Zeke and let them eat. So, again, I'm Joe Smo. So for me to figure this out, it shouldn't be that hard for Linehan to figure it out as well. And that's why we're getting outmanned because of the simple fact that the defensive coordinators don't have to be a creative-minded individual to know how to stop this team, and that's a shame. They just got to do better with that. Like I said, feed Zeke. Feed Zeke. Play fakes. End arounds. Bootlegs. Wheel routes. Do the things that work. You see that these things are working. Continue to do that. Too many times Dallas Cowboys will be on offense where they'll be up by a touchdown, maybe two, and they get comfortable and they're like, all right, well, we can go back to the conservative crap. No. When you have a team on their heels, you keep stepping on that gas until you can't go no more, until they're able to stop it. If a team cannot stop you, you keep it moving. There ain't no mercy rule. Ain't no mercy. There's no mercy on these people because I'll be honest with you. Nobody's feeling sorry for the Dallas Cowboys. So at the end of the day, you got to step on it. You got to keep it moving. Whatever works, utilize that and keep it moving. And I said this before. Keep pressure on Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, again, is a mobile quarterback. He's going to roll out. Stay in your lanes. Get to the quarterback. Frustrate him because he'll throw an errant ball here and there and give you an interception. And speaking of interceptions, we ain't got none. And that's one thing that the Cowboys need to get. They need to get turnovers. Turnovers. And I'm not talking about Apple turnovers. I'm talking about intercepting that ball, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, whatever the case may be, tip balls, get it, and run that thing back and give the ball back to your offense so they can succeed. Give them a short field because the right plays at the right time is key in this game because I feel like these teams are kind of evenly matched. So I think that in order for you to move ahead of this team, you're going to have to win in more than one way. And I'll get to that too. Number 4, contain wide receivers. I just spoke on the stats of both DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. They are that team's playmakers. I have DeAndre Hopkins in fantasy, so I know what he can do. And Will Fuller has 3 touchdowns. So it's the job of our secondary to step up and figure it out. Now, I still have confidence in Chidobe Awuzie because of the simple fact that, yes, he had a bad game last week, but nobody's perfect. You know, everybody has a bad game here or there. You look at dang, I just lost my whole train of thought. I'm sorry. You look at our secondary and you're like, okay, Anthony Brown, Awuzie have to step up. Byron Jones has been doing the damn thing, and I'm proud of him. But Awuzie and Anthony Brown have to have better games because if they let these guys sneak off in the backfield and they get long touchdowns like Golden Tate and Marvin Jones were killing us last week, you cannot let that happen. You have to make sure that these guys are where they're supposed to be on the field. Angles. It's geometry. Angles. Jeff Heath has to step up. Everybody has to do their part. Now, if our secondary can hold up, that's going to be key. Because we already know the defensive line is going to do their job. David Irving's coming back. He should be playing tomorrow, so we'll see what's up with that. That's going to be key. Because I think that David Irving's not going to start, though, because he hasn't played. So they're probably going to have Tyrone Crawford play, and then he's going to rotate with him. And then they're going to blend it in with Taco Charlton and things of that nature. Number 5, make plays on special teams. Now, we haven't had any big plays on special teams. We had some nice run backs, but we haven't had anything that was for a touchdown or something that will put us in the red zone immediately, which would be awesome. Now, again, I said these teams are kind of evenly matched, so I don't think that you're going to be beating this team by a lot, or they're going to be beating you by a lot. There's going to be chances in the game for you to maximize that opportunity to get in front of that team. Put Tavon Austin back there on punt returns. Put DeAndre Hopkins back there. Deontay Thompson. Whew, that's a different team. Deontay Thompson. Put him back there. Get him in space. Get these guys in space. Spread out. Get them in there. Outside of Tyrann Mathieu, which is now with the Texans, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, he is now with the Houston Texans. Outside of him in the secondary, they have a very leaky secondary. They don't really have any guys out there that can do anything. And they probably looking at our wide receivers like they ain't doing nothing either. So it's going to be a battle of people who ain't doing a damn thing. So let's figure it out and be the ones that actually do something on this offense. And because, again, that's the bright spot. Because you have the opportunity to do this. Throw the ball downfield. Make their secondary guys feel the pressure, because if you make them feel the pressure, more than likely they're not gonna see it coming, because they don't expect you to do that. Do something that you ain't done. Period. Now, the Texans will win if they neutralize Zeke and make us a one-dimensional team. That is the way that the Texans will be able to beat us, because once they feel like that they have the power and they neutralize Zeke, they feel like that they're going to feel like the Dak is not going to be able to get the team back, because they're going to look at it like this: oh, we have J.J. Watt, we have Merciless, we have Clowney, so we're going to come and we're going to pass rush you to death and we're going to plow into you. That's what their thinking would be, because you're going to give them the upper hand if they're able to do that. Same thing with them. They would definitely win if they neutralize Dak and frustrate Dak. The Texans have not been great in the red zone, so there's ways that you can balance out the fact that, okay, if Deshaun Watson's going to run out, because you always have to look for that, just like they always have to look for Dak. At any given time, Deshaun Watson can leak out that field and run in for a touchdown. He's done it many times, both before his injury and this season so far. So that's one thing to watch out for. Now, as a whole, I don't know who's going to win this game. I know that it's going to be a tightly contested game. I know that this game can actually come down to special teams, I believe. Now, it's whoever makes the big play, chunk plays. Whoever makes a big play will win this game, in my opinion. And I don't know which way or another, but I know that that Texans crowd, that Texans fan base is going to be big, because, again, they're at home and they're 1-3, and they're playing against their up north rival, and they're hungry and they're ready. So Dallas Cowboys have to get ready, and that's pretty much what I have for the matchups of this game. And I would say, let's go Cowboys. Cowboys know what they need to do. Get that ball downfield and make some plays. And I'll be watching. I'll most likely probably be over Mark's house tomorrow night for the game. So I know you guys will probably see me on a live stream. Also, too, real quick before I end. So I'm doing some different things with my channel. So this is something that I started for the season 2. Doing my matchups every Saturday. I'm also going to incorporate this. I actually might do this tomorrow at Mark's house. So this might make a debut on his channel, but we'll see. So I have these table stackers, which is basically Jenga, but it's Cowboy version. So I think what I'm going to do with this is, so we're probably going to do like a challenge. So if a team does a certain thing on the field, or basically have a conversation about matchups. So if a player does a certain thing, how can I explain this? So basically, you guys know how the game Jenga works. You know, you have to make sure that when you pull out the bricks, you put them back on top and make sure it doesn't fall. So basically, we're going to have a conversation about the team, and we're going to have a debate. So basically, we're going to debate it. So if, say for instance, if Zeke Elliott's going to do something positive, but somebody else is trying to refute that cause, we'll battle it out on this. And the victor is the one that does not make the stack fall. So we're gonna try this and see how this works. And when we do it, guys, let me know what you think about it, because if not, I'll incorporate it more into my channel, and guest appearances that I have with people that come on my channel as well. So, with that being said, y'all, let's get ready for tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Enjoy your day. We play tomorrow night, which may or may not be an advantage for us because but it's okay because they're only 3 hours away, so they're probably just gonna take a bus down there anyway. So it is what it is. Going forward, next week, the Jaguars game, and then the week after that is we play against those stinking Redskins. And here I live 15 minutes from FedEx Field, and we'll be there for the tailgate with Mark and everything. So those of you guys that are actually out of state that actually are going to come to that game, let me know who you guys are because I don't know who a lot of you guys are as far as like I know your names, but I don't know what you look like. So if you guys come to the tailgate and you see me, hey, just be like, hey, E2, I'm such and such, blah, blah, but follow you. Let me know who you are. Because, again, I love you guys. I love talking to you guys. Love interacting. It'd be just nice to put a face to a name. You know what I mean? So, like I said, you guys done seen me. You guys know a lot about me, but I don't know nothing about none of you guys. So, I'm the one in a vulnerable place here. So, it is what it is. But anyway, this your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all have a great day. Talk to y'all soon.